Welcome to the Season 2, Episode 8, The Orville Discussion. If you're looking for a rehash of The Orville, where I go scene by scene summarizing the whole episode, I'm sorry not to waste your time when you could just watch the episode again yourself, or watch one of the plenty rehash videos on other channels. Here I'm going to go into the meat and potatoes of what I noticed and my thoughts from the episode under the assumption you've already seen it. So be warned, there will be spoilers. I think I find this method less patronizing. If you agree, let me know down below and I'll make more videos like this. I'm only going to work from a single viewing, notes, and memory. I don't have time to rewatch and research every episode of every series and then watch every fan video on the web, so my viewpoint may already be debunked elsewhere. I'll try and take the seat of a casual fan and perhaps assume you've noticed or know more than I. Since part 2 will answer questions and thoughts, I will only leave this video up for a few weeks. I will depreciate videos from time to time, so if you subscribe to my channel you'll be sure not to miss any of my follow-ups or discussions in the future. Let's talk about merchandising. It's going to happen if the show starts becoming successful. From my limited experience in the industry of scriptwriting, I know some common tropes would be displaying a gun on a wall or a desk in the first act will mean that it's used by the third. Another would be if a person coughs in the first act, they're usually dead by the end of the second. I would like to add another one to this list. If a toy is played with by a child actor on screen, a merchandised version will be attempted before syndication. On a more creative level, I find the use of the game in the beginning of the episode positive. I think the attention to detail in this game was very interesting and added a more realistic element. If you follow the movements of the controller-type devices, you will see the hologram game board echo the pattern. At least this is what it looked like to me at a glance. And since they came to a final conclusion of a game according to the script, it would appear that the game itself does have a logical set of rules. Another notion that came to me is that it resembles a 3D version of Chinese checkers, a nod to 3D chess from Star Trek. So I will call this 3D Chinese checkers until Fox tells us another name for it. While I don't have enough OCD to study the game from the limited footage in the episode, I speculate that there was a real rule set created special for the show. They may have even contracted a game designer. Looking at this from the perspective that merchandising is one of the biggest ways to monetize a franchise, I think we can expect at least an app or some kind of toy variant in the future. Just thinking about it, I bet you could make a homemade version using a dowel, color Sharpies, and some transparent acrylic sheets. Someone should make an Orville section on Instructables before the next Comic-Con. I wanted to touch upon the Kalons for a second. I know people are referencing them as a nod to earlier Star Trek tropes, such as the Borg, but I would argue that while the Orville is a product of Star Trek, it is also a product of other good sci-fi that came before it. Based upon both the backstory and mannerisms of the collective, what comes to mind for me is the Cylons from the 1978 miniseries Battlestar Galactica. By your command, by your command. Heck, even their freaking name is similar. I'm guessing that Isaac's logical path to redemption is to save the day himself by interfacing with the General Core computer.
Chewbacca can do it! I'm standing here in pieces and you're having to lose the grandeur! You did it!
We do see him giving orders when Captain Mercer walks in on him briefly. Maybe it's related. I speculate this is going to go down in one of two ways. Either the Kalons, are completely destroyed, possibly by a virus.
Hey, alright, look at us, take a look at the Earthlings.
Or simply reprogrammed into peaceful beings. I don't see a good option left for them to remain as a long-running antagonist, but I could be wrong. Adapting to a new primary antagonist is hard, but is possible.
We are the Borg. Lower your shields and surrender your ships. We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own.
And it looks like we have lots to explore with when it comes to the Krill. My wife calls me a fashion snob, which is partly true, because I do notice things when it comes to costume and outfits. One thing I noticed is Ty's red kicks that they just jumped right out at me. I don't know if they did for you. I really want to see more in the line of footwear. In the sci-fi genre, civilian shoes are really hard to pull off because they're a deviation from standardized black boots. And you can't just have a Nike swoosh symbol appear, unless of course they pay for it. Along the lines of gaffes and mistakes, I noticed that Dr. Finn has a broken clasp on her away mission jacket, which is different from her normal green lab coat. I suspect it's from the lateral stress from her tricorder. When it comes to the Kalons, I noticed a few small things other than the orange eyes, such as shoulder pads, and a few other minor differences. The other thing I noticed is stress damage to Isaac's costume during his speech scene. Massive shoots for a series is going to render Isaac's suit as a consumable. With the large amounts of synthetics, I bet Mark Johnson is praying for a redesign or an upgrade for the future seasons. Aluminum chainmail near the joints would be costlier in upfront labor, but it would increase the lifespan of the costume as well as increasing airflow for the actors that wear such an outfit. Hopefully in upcoming seasons they will give him an upgrade. Regarding rumors, I've heard somewhere that Kalons have the ability called conscious transformance. Perhaps this is how Isaac saves the day. From Mark Johnson's Reddit AMA, I got the impression that the overall story arc for Season 2 is going to be mostly about Isaac. Maybe we're going to learn more about his background even further in the upcoming episodes. Oh, and I have one last question for you. What does God need with a starship? And why even bother keeping the crew of the Orville alive? One last thing, I need your help reaching my first 1,000 subscribers. Please hit the subscribe button below. And for bonus points with the algorithm, hit the like button and leave a comment. I have not been compensated in any fashion by any studio or creator. My opinions are mine and mine alone.